Long ago, beneath the blazing sun of Kemet, when the Nile breathed life into the desert sands, there rose a goddess unlike any other. She was not thunder nor tempest, nor the clash of spear and shield. She was silence, she was grace. She was the whisper of paws in the night, and the golden fire hidden behind the eyes of a cat. They called her Bastet. To the common folk, she was joy, laughter, and song, protector of children, guardian of the hearth, patroness of music and dance. Her temples echoed with the rhythms of drums, the strum of lyres, and the voices of women weaving prayers into the air. In Bubastis, the great city of her worship, the Nile itself seemed to sing her name. Yet Bastet was not only softness, her essence held a dual fire, for within her heart lay another face, a darker reflection, Sekhmet, the lioness of the desert. When Egypt's enemies threatened the harmony of Ma'at, the sacred balance, Bastet would transform. The gentle cat became the raging lioness. Her claws dripped with sunlight, her roar split the heavens, her breath was fire itself. She was the eye of Ra, unleashed to punish and to protect. The myth tells us that when Ra, the sun god, grew weary of humankind's rebellion, he sent forth his daughter, his blazing eye, and she came as Sekhmet, a storm of fury across the land. No man could withstand her. Blood ran like rivers and the earth shook beneath her wrath. But the gods saw that destruction had gone too far. And so they poured the red flood of beer upon the ground, a sea dyed to resemble blood. Sekhmet drank deeply, and in her drunkenness, her rage softened. The lioness fell silent. The fury melted into purring calm. From that moment, she was Bastet again. The cat curled in the sun, the mother nursing her young, the gentle guardian who walked between fire and tenderness. This is the duality of Bastet, the caress and the claw, the moonlight and the flame. She is destruction and creation, protection and play, ferocity and affection, woven into one eternal presence. The Egyptians knew this truth well. They honored her with festivals so vast that even Herodotus, the traveler from Greece, wrote of them with awe. Hundreds of thousands came by boat upon the Nile, singing, laughing, pouring wine, dancing through the streets of Bubastis. It was a carnival of devotion, a celebration of life itself, for to honor Bastet was to honor the joy of existence. And yet beneath the laughter was reverence, for all who gazed upon the statues of the cat goddess knew. Within her silence dwelt the fire of the lioness. She was not to be taken lightly. She was both intimacy and awe, both home and horizon. Thus Bastet became one of the most beloved deities of Egypt. Not distant, not cold, not unreachable, but close, dwelling in every household cat, every playful moment of love, every quiet act of protection, every balance between rage and rest. And through her story, the people of Kemet learned a mystery older than empire, that true power is not only in the sword nor in the roar of kings, but in the unseen fire that waits. The patient strength of the one who knows when to strike and when to watch in silence. This was Bastet, the goddess who purred and roared, the guardian of joy, the lioness of wrath, the eternal balance of the divine feminine. The cat was never just an animal in Egypt. It was a mystery, a living hieroglyph of something far greater. Look closely at the cat. It is soft, supple, graceful. It stretches into the sun with elegance, its body flowing like water, its movements measured, precise, eternal. Yet beneath that softness, it is a hunter. It waits in silence. It watches with eyes that pierce the veil of night. And when the moment arrives, it strikes without hesitation. This is the paradox of Bastet, the creature that embodies both stillness and suddenness, both tenderness and terror. The Egyptians saw in the cat a mirror of divine power itself. Power that does not need to shout. Power that does not rush. Power that waits. Real strength, they believed, is not in endless force, but in the capacity to restrain it. To hold the claw within the velvet paw. To strike only when the time is right. Thus Bastet became the guardian of thresholds. She stands at the border between home and wild, between order and chaos, between light and shadow. She is the fire of Sekhmet tempered by moonlight, The roar transformed into a purr. The chaos of war dissolved into the intimacy of touch. And so every image of Bastet, whether in bronze statue, painted relief, or living cat in the household, reminded the people of Kemet of this mystery, that joy and protection are not opposites, that ferocity and tenderness are not contradictions, that sovereignty is not domination, but balance. In Bastet's symbols, we see the hidden laws of the cosmos, the lioness, raw, untamed energy, the fire of the desert sun, the force of destruction, the burning rage of Ra's eye when injustice rises, the cat, the moonlit presence of intimacy, the protector of hearth and child, the reminder that life is not only struggle, but also play. The eye of Ra, the divine fire channeled through her gaze, both blinding and protective, both punisher and healer. Together, these symbols form a riddle of power. That which destroys can also protect. That which is soft can also endure. That which waits in silence can hold the greatest strength of all. To the Egyptians, this was not abstract philosophy, it was life itself. They lived in a land where balance was everything, between river and desert, between flood and drought, between chaos and order. And so Bastet was more than a goddess. She was a compass, a reminder that to survive and to flourish, to remain in harmony with Ma'at, one must learn the secret she embodied, the art of holding two powers in one, the flame and the moonlight, the claw and the caress. This is why her temples overflowed with devotion, why thousands gathered to dance in her honor, why even in death cats were mummified with reverence, buried beside their human companions, wrapped in linen as if to whisper, "The symbol of Bastet shall walk with you into eternity." For to love the cat was to love the mystery, and to honor Bastet was to honor the quietest, deepest truth of all, that within silence burns a hidden fire, and within gentleness there lies the fiercest strength. What is a goddess, if not a mirror of ourselves? What is a myth, if not the language of the soul? Bastet is not only Egypt's, she is humanity's. For within her dual nature, the lioness and the cat, the roar and the purr, we glimpse something alive in our own hearts. Carl Jung called it the archetype, a timeless image that lives within the collective psyche, guiding, shaping, revealing. Bastet is the archetype of the feminine guardian, the anima that protects it, the inner force that loves, the hidden flame that defends the soul. She is the mother who nourishes. She is the lover who delights. She is the huntress who strikes without fear. She is the watcher in silence, the one who knows without needing to explain. In Jungian psychology, the anima is the feminine presence within the masculine psyche, and the animus is the masculine within the feminine. Together, they weave the soul's wholeness. Bastet embodies this anima force. She whispers through intuition. She teaches the masculine to soften, to protect without control, to love without domination. But Bastet also demands respect. To deny her presence is to wound the psyche, to repress the feminine, to cage intuition, to silence emotion, to mock tenderness, is to awaken her shadow. That shadow is Sekhmet, the repressed feminine that returns as rage, as uncontrollable destruction, as the lioness who tears through the illusions of order. How many empires have fallen? How many men have shattered because they ignored the wisdom of Bastet? Because they silenced the feminine until she returned as fire? Yet when honored, Bastet becomes wholeness. She is the balance of eros and logos, love and reason, moonlight and fire. Aristotle once said that virtue lies in the mean, between excess and deficiency. Bastet is that virtue embodied, neither all ferocity nor all softness, but the precise harmony between them. The Stoics taught the art of patience, the power of waiting, the discipline of watching without haste. Is this not the very essence of the cat? The still gaze, the patient pause, the strike at the perfect moment? And in Jung's shadow work, we find her again. The cat within us is the self that knows, the part of us that refuses to be tamed by society's demands, the part that rests when the world screams for labor, the part that defends when the world expects silence. To deny Bastet is to deny this inner cat, to live without intuition, To live without play, to live without balance, but to embrace her. To honor the inner Bastet is to awaken a guardian force, one that protects your inner child, one that shields your joy, one that purrs when you rest and roars when your soul is threatened. She is not only myth, she is psychology. She is not only Egypt, she is you. For every man carries Bastet as anima, the guide of his inner world, and every woman carries Bastet as archetype, the image of her own power, her independence, her dignity, her softness, her strength. Bastet whispers in dreams, appears in shadows, moves through the silence of memory. She is the archetype of balance, the eternal question made flesh. How do you wield power? As roar or as purr? Perhaps the answer is both, and perhaps that is why Bastet lives still, not as a relic of temples, but as a guardian of the soul. Bastet is not gone. She has not vanished into the ruins of Bubastis, nor faded into the dust of forgotten shrines. She walks with us still. She is the cat in the window, the protector at the edge of night, the quiet presence that waits when the world becomes too loud. But more than this, Bastet awakens in us whenever we remember balance, whenever we refuse to live only in rage or only in softness, whenever we claim both the roar and the purr. Our age suffers from extremes. Nations roar with endless conflict. Markets devour with ferocity. The noise of the world shouts endlessly. Dominate, consume, win, control. But beneath this roar, the soul whispers for something else, for stillness, for joy, for harmony. This is Bastet's return. She speaks to a humanity lost in domination, reminding us that true power is not control, but balance. Look around our world. The feminine is rising again, not as submission, but as sovereignty. Not as silence, but as song. Women reclaiming their voices, communities honoring intuition. The sacred feminine remembered in rituals, in healing, and in the deep knowing that the soft hand can sometimes heal more than the iron fist. Bastet is alive in every act of reclamation, in every woman who says no more, in every man who learns to honor his intuition, in every soul who chooses joy over endless toil. She is alive in movements that defend the earth, that protect the vulnerable, that honor life not through destruction, but through care. For Bastet is the guardian of the hearth, and today the hearth is the planet itself, the home we all share. She whispers, protect what is fragile, honor what is playful, defend what is sacred. Do not mistake quiet for weakness. And within each of us, she stirs as well. The Bastet within you is the part that knows when to fight and when to wait, when to rest in sunlight and when to leap into the dark. She awakens in your boundaries, when you choose dignity over exploitation. She awakens in your joy, when you laugh despite the heaviness of the world. She awakens in your protection, when you shield a child, a dream, a vulnerable soul. To awaken Bastet is to awaken your wholeness, to remember that power is not loudness, but presence, not control, but alignment. She teaches us to see through illusions, the illusion that endless noise is strength, the illusion that domination is security, the illusion that silence is weakness. No, Bastet knows the opposite. That silence holds the deepest fire. That patience is the greatest weapon. That joy is the fiercest resistance of all. So ask yourself, where is Bastet in your life? Where does the lioness roar within you? Where does the cat watch in silence? And where do you deny her? Fearing your own intuition, dismissing your own joy, ignoring the fire that dwells within softness? Perhaps this is the awakening she calls us to claim both powers at once, to be fierce and tender, to be silent and unshakable, to be a guardian and a lover. For only then do we become whole. Only then do we walk in harmony with Ma'at. Only then do we touch the secret of power that Egypt once celebrated. That true sovereignty is the marriage of the roar and the purr. And now, the fire softens. The story fades like incense in the temple air. Bastet returns to silence, but the question remains, what is power? Is it the roar that shakes the heavens, or the purr that trembles against the skin? Is it the sword that conquers or the gaze that waits? Bastet answers with a paradox. She is both. She is all. She is the balance that binds creation together. Perhaps this is her gift. That power is not one thing, but two held in harmony. The flame and the moonlight, the lioness and the cat, the claw and the caress. To walk with Bastet is to walk with wholeness. To know when to act and when to wait. To know when to strike and when to heal. To know that joy is not weakness, but strength hidden in play. And so she lingers with us. In every threshold we cross. In every choice between silence and speech. In every balance between rage and tenderness. She is the whisper in your ear that says, protect what you love, guard what is sacred. Do not mistake stillness for surrender. Do not mistake gentleness for weakness. For within you burns her hidden fire. Within you waits her eternal gaze. The question is no longer who Bastet is. The question is who you will be. Will you claim the roar? Will you claim the purr? Will you learn the art of both and discover the sovereignty of balance? For perhaps this is the truest form of love. Not love as possession, not love as conquest, but love as wholeness. Love as protection, love as joy that refuses to die. And so Bastet watches still, in the silence of night, in the laughter of children, in the fire of women rising, in the quiet strength of men who dare to feel. She is with us. She is within us. The only question that remains is this: will you awaken her? What aspect of Bastet lives in you? The protector, the lover, the watcher in silence? Share your reflection below. And if you wish to journey deeper into the hidden symbols of awakening, subscribe to Epiphane Arcadia, because here myth is not just story, it's the mirror of your soul.